8 tips for avoiding common first-time homebuyer frustrations. First-time homebuyers' love, at first sight, happens, particularly when they are house chasing. That sort of fascination can be elating and energize, however, it can likewise be excruciatingly agonizing in the event that it doesn't last, or on the off chance that it closes in frustration either earlier or after they really call a home their own. Instead of planning to be impressed homebuyer by the ideal home, it may be smarter to search for the sort of home in which buyer can fabricate an enduring relationship by getting acquainted with each other after some time. The relationship isn't impeccable, yet buyer gets the point. A home that buyer can develop to like, a considerable measure, while living respectively won't be a shocker for the time being. It may, truth be told, have a few blemishes that he will need to address. Be that as it may, it is regularly more astute to look for the potential in a home as opposed to flawlessness, and to consider long-haul home reasonableness as opposed to here and now fascination. By keeping his alternatives open and concentrating on the conceivable amid his home hunt, buyer ought to have the capacity to understand the fantasy of home possession while being consistent with his underlying inquiry criteria. It's a venture of time and vitality and an additional cash. Buying a house is additionally the biggest single speculation a great many people make. Settle on it a shrewd decision. Here are 8 tips for keeping away from common first-time homebuyer frustrations. 1. Know your home buying limits. Supposing buyer can manage the cost of a specific cost and really being pre-fit the bill for a particular sum are two unique things. Today, it is constantly better to make pre-capability he first need, particularly in case he is a first-time home buyer. Not exclusively will it spare grief by putting a dollar confine on his home buying dreams, it will spare time and enable him to influence a sure offer when buyer to locate that unique property. 2. Approach home search with a plan. Interfacing with a trustworthy real estate agent sooner than later can spare buyer time, cash, and dissatisfaction, particularly when the stock is tight. Try not to delay. House chasing is an errand that requires time and exertion, regardless of whether buyer turn takes him crosswise over town or the nation over. Survey his choices, regardless of whether the buyer is moving to a people group, or any place else. On the off chance that it's a long separated move, measure the advantages and disadvantages of leasing for a time frame as buyer settles into a new environment. At any rate, do some homework ahead of time. Read about neighborhoods, converse with local people, accumulate data. Never hope to locate a new home in a solitary day. That truly just occurs on TV. Truth be told, the buyer may need to present numerous offers previously buyer achieve a coupling contract, particularly in a focused real estate advertising. 3. Extend home search. We as a whole know the mantra, location, location, and location. In real estate, the reality of the matter is that area ordinarily trumps everything. In any case, don't confine buyer home inquiry to a solitary neighborhood or suburb. Rather, speak the truth about his prerequisites, regardless of whether they incorporate a prime school area, access to parks and play areas, an emotional view, simple drive or a group near the end of the week fun and amusement. Let the buyer know as a matter of fact, that most buyers searching for their first home don't wind up obtaining in the range they at first began their hunt. The key about location is to be adaptable and to settle on choices in light of exact data and sensible desires. Home focused on a specific region, are considerably more prone to commit errors as well as overextend themselves fiscally. 4. Look below the surface. Regardless of whether buyer like what he sees or not, set aside the opportunity to take a gander at the home's structure notwithstanding its veneer. Be careful with the excellent trappings of a manufacturer's model home and know which highlights are standard and which are updates at extra cost. Take a gander at the engineering. Measure room sizes and considers the physical format to guarantee that the home will suit his requirements, oblige his furniture and mirror his style. 5. Count the cost of home ownership. The home loan may speak to the biggest lump of his lodging spending plan, however, there are a bunch of expenses of home possession that buyer should not overlook, notwithstanding charges and protection. Examine HOA duty, including any unique evaluations, group participations, transportation costs, vitality proficiency and winning rates for utilities, and the range's typical cost for basic items. Likewise include any one-time charges, for new furniture, a lawnmower, arranged enhancements, finishing, and general upkeep. Finally, remember to set aside a portion of the financial plan for routine home upkeep costs. Not staying aware of customary upkeep is a typical first-time property owner mistake, which will conceivably cost a large number of dollars when it comes time to sell. 6. Try not to overestimate abilities. Many homes require some work, and the buyer will need to include individual touches. Be that as it may, don't plan to go up against undertakings that are past his capacities and his expressed spending plan. Living in a fixer-upper is terrible, and buying a house that turns into a cash pit is not shrewd. 7. In home, buying patience is a virtue. It's a kindergarten lesson that has applications for house seekers too. Buying a house is a long-haul responsibility. Realize that regardless of the possibility that buyer hunt broadens longer than his wish, it is savvy not to settle on a quick choice. Tolerance is required. When looking to buy his first home, plan to be pulled in various ways, however then set out to give his mind a chance to govern over the heart. Perceive that his enthusiastic want to move and be settled in another home won't be the best choice and that paying rent for an additional half year might be more astute than focusing on a home loan on a home that won't satisfy his requirements. At long last, get his budgetary undertakings all together before he starts his inquiry, and he will be more averse to be frustrated. 8. Depend upon his full-service real estate agent. Extraordinary compared to other approaches to stay away from normal home buying traps is to work with a learned and respectable real estate broker. Try not to hold up to associate with a legitimate agent. Buyer will locate that most agents esteem the relationship, and are with a buyer for the whole deal, whether he buys 1 week from now, or 1 year from now. Basically, speak the truth about his needs and his time period, and make sure to share his list of things to get, and also an absolute necessity his list with his agent. For free samples of probates, inherited, foreclosures, absentees landlord, vacant, code violations, evictions list visit www.rensupermarket.com.